Charu Pragya, spokesperson of the BJP, with me on the show. I'm speaking with Shashank Shekhar Jha, advocate in the Supreme Court, Mohammad Khan of the Congress with me today, as well as Sanjay Hegde, advocate in the Supreme Court. Welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for joining us on the discussion on Beyond the Headline. Charu Pragya, let me come to you. Abhishek Manu Singhvi says it's just step one of the legal process. Why is the BJP exulting today?
It's actually step 2 of the legal process, Shreya, because the step 1 was the first verdict and today was the second one. So it's step 2 actually. Mr. Singhvi is a very senior lawyer, but he needs to stand corrected. Another thing is that I think all of Congress is basically missing the point. All of Congress does not understand that in your arrogance or in your thinking that you are different from everybody else in this country and you're above the law of the land, you forget that you cannot taint and paint an entire community, an entire surname as a chore just because it suits you politically, which is exactly what he's done. I know Congress tries to bring in this argument of saying that every Modi is actually not an OBC. How does that even matter? Basically, when a leader who's at the stature of Mr. Gandhi says that every Modi is a chore, I think that's a statement which needs to be corrected. And as I've discussed this with you,
does it Charu Pragya, and this is Tammana here, by the way, does it deserve a 2-year sentence in jail?
Yeah, sorry, Tammana, I can't see you. Yes,
no problem.
I was just going to get to that, Tammana. So first of all, we have a law of the land. We have an IPC. The IPC section 500 very clearly states for criminal defamation, there can be punishment which is imprisonment up to 2 years and fine or both. So our IPC says it categorically and very clearly. So the judge is well within his rights and the powers vested in him to announce a statement or a judgment like that. You have a problem with it? Please go into appeal. But why is everybody debating the fact that how could this happen and why could this happen? Do you not understand when you are the very party which harps on about the constitution, about the law of the land, etc., that when a judge announces a statement or a judgment which says that there is 2 years of imprisonment for this particular crime, he's doing his job. Okay, maybe somebody else would have said 2 years, somebody else would have said 2 months, 6 months, 1 year.
No, that's a matter of legality.
He's been vested
that's a matter, Charu Pragya, right? That's a matter of legality. This judge has done it. We don't know what the Gujarat High Court will do. We don't know if it will go to the Supreme Court. Yeah. Quickly, please. Yes.
We don't know that. I'm not getting into that. But can I get 10 more? Yeah. So that's a matter of legality, and which is very clear. The judge is doing what's his job and what he feels is right. And when it comes to a matter of politics, I think it's been politicized enough by the Congress by playing the victim card repeatedly. They could have gone into an appeal a month ago.
Khan, are you playing the victim card?
Not at all.
Are you playing the victim card?
A sensible leader would have simply said, I did not want to hurt anyone else's sentiments. I apologize. Instead of saying
one minute. Charu Pragya, before I come to Mohammad Khan, what is this apology thing? 1 minute. Yeah. What is this apology thing? If you're saying this is a matter of law, it is a judgment handed down by an Indian court, how will the apology make a difference one way or the other? Will the apology make that judgment go away? No. Why the harping on the apology? 1 minute. Let me go to Mohammad Khan. Mohammad Khan, is the Congress party playing... 1 minute. Is the Congress party playing the victim card? It was more of a comment, honestly, because what difference is it going to make? Mohammad Khan, is the Congress party playing the victim card?
It does, because it was said by the judge.
How Rahul Gandhi is being targeted, unko beghar bhi kar diya, MP status bhi nikal diya. Is that what is happening? Which is why this legal process is dragging on. It would have taken an inordinate amount of time to even file this appeal.
I have listened to Charuji with the greatest of patience and without interrupting her at all. I am sure she'll do me the same courtesy. There are 3 things to address here. Charuji spoke about arrogance. I'm shocked. She feels that us going to court, respecting this tribunal, this particular court, and going in appeal before the sessions judge, and appearing in person every single time, not just in this, but in every single one of the cases filed by the BJP and by their acolytes and supporters across the country. Is that arrogance? No, that is us humbling ourselves before the majesty of the law, showing up in the hope and pursuit of justice. What is arrogance, Charuji, is a government that believes it is not accountable to the people, a government that speaks from on high and is petrified of questions. Now, let me tell you this. I'm glad you raised the law. Defamation. And I'm glad you cited Section 500. I wish you had cited Section 499 before that. I wish you had cited Section 199 of the RPC. I've carried the criminal manual in case you need me to read those to you and refresh your memory. The fact is, a person aggrieved has to be an identifiable person. This is why defamation cases are not filed at random or whimsically across the country. You have to show that you were injured. You have to show that you were identified by virtue of the words. And it is our submission, it has been our submission that this was not the case. The learned CJM disagreed with us. The learned Sessions Court has not allowed us to stay on conviction. Fair enough. We will continue to appeal. That is the ultimate sign of a party that believes in the rule of law. We'll go to appeal to the Gujarat High Court, where we are optimistic the verdict will be overturned. And then we'll go to the Supreme Court if need be.
Mr. Khan, I asked you a question. Are you playing the victim card? It's a question I also asked Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi.
Ma'am, may I ask you something?
It's helping you to drag it out. Let's admit it.
I'll answer that.
It's helping you to drag it out. Now, Rahul Gandhi will go to that very same collard before the Karnataka elections. There will be a speech there. The optics works for you.
Right, that's a fair question. But Tammana ji, we didn't file the complaint. We didn't pursue this litigation. We didn't go to the High Court, get a stay on this litigation, and then ask for the stay to be vacated just a few months ago. That was not us. That was Pragya ji's colleague. So therefore, we are not the ones responsible here. Second, Tammana ji, we filed our appeal within time. We are going to file a appeal against the CJM's court within time. We have sought no adjournments. How have we delayed the process? Finally, let me say one thing to Charu ji. I don't think she is aware of this. You keep accusing us of defaming the OBC community. Madam, I can't speak for the OBC community. I believe they are more than capable of speaking for themselves. And they have. Do you know what they've said? They've served a defamation notice on you. Specifically, the OBC Mahasabha on the 4th of April served a defamation notice on the BJP about this matter, saying, why are you trying to bring them into this? So, Charuji, please don't try and speak for the OBCs of our country. Our brothers and sisters of the OBC community are more than capable of speaking for themselves. Second, I want to point out, Tammana ji, that in this case, why are we optimistic? Because I have here with me a compilation of 11 judgments of different high courts of the country, 11 different judgments of different high courts of the country, which define what an aggrieved person is. And that is why we are confident in our appeal.
We'll come to the legal points in a bit. I have two more panelists to also speak with. Just quick response from Charu Pragya, because you've directed a question specifically at her. Yes, Charu Pragya.
Thank you.
On the OBC
yes, very quickly now, when Mr. Khan says that justice was, there was no appeal that was delayed, this is the very same Congress that found the lawyers and the words to put an appeal forward for Mr. Pawan Khera within 20 minutes. Yet they couldn't do it for their tallest leader, Mr. Gandhi. It was a measured tactic and one that they thought would serve them well, which has not been the case. And secondly, since you're quoting the law at me, let me also remind you, while you do that, remember the fact that there is a provision, and that provision, first of all, 2 years is absolutely acceptable. You have a problem, you're moving the court. Why are you politicizing this?
We have appealed. Charuji, very interesting you raised the Pawan Khera ji issue. And because you've raised that, I'll answer it in a sentence.
Yes, and both the times. And both the times
you under Article 32.
Both the courts,
that was a petition under Article 32. This was a trial.
No, but
are you seriously suggesting that this could be expedited?
Okay, 1 minute. Shashank Shekhar Jha. 1 minute. Shashank Shekhar Jha. You must allow others also to speak on the panel. 1 minute. Shashank Shekhar Jha. Is there? Do you think there is any kind of merit to the theory and also being propagated by Charu Pragya today that the Congress is legally dragging its feet? Could it have happened faster, or is this the right pace?
Namaste Tammana ji and every fellow panelist. Tammana ji, with due respect to everyone who is supporting Congress here, I stand with Pragya ji here because of the fact that Section 320 of CRPC says that all those offences which are compoundable in nature can be settled down if accused and the defendant agrees to a particular term. Now, this particular section called 500 of IPC, which is criminal defamation, falls under the category of compoundable offences. Now, Supreme Court's ruling of 2022 of Sonandar versus State of Chhattisgarh clearly states a division bench order clearly says that there are clear guidelines for disposal of criminal cases by restoring to the triple method of plea bargaining, compounding of offences, and provision of Offenders Act. So this is not a matter of debate or choice. See, everyone every other day go for this thing. Arvind Kejriwal apologized for his acts. For example, recently a senior editor of a channel, Arnab Goswami, did the same or are trying to do the same. Even a filmmaker called Vivek Agnihotri.
So what is your point, Mr. Jha?
So
1 minute. Can you succinctly tell us your point, Sankshet mein? What is the point you're making? Ki sorry bolenge to sab theek ho jayega. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Tamanna ji, it is very clear as per section 320 of CRPC.
But then Purnesh Modi has to say that I will withdraw the complaint. There's already a conviction here. Sanjay Hegde, I'm not understanding this sorry bolenge theek ho jayega wala scene. Is this a political thing or is there any legal basis to this? Sanjay Hegde. And thank you for your patience, Mr. Hegde. Yes.
Well, there is a legal basis, but do they speak for Mr. Modi, who claim, Mr. Purnesh Modi, that is, who claimed to say represent all Modis? Or does he say sorry to Mr. Purnesh Modi, or does he say sorry to the entire Modi community? Is there a Modi community? And why should he say sorry if he says that it is not defamatory? His case is that there is nothing called an identifiable body of persons called Modi who come within the scope of the defamation section. This is to say that, if you say that all Singhs are lazy, Manmohan Singh, Yo-Yo Honey Singh, and a whole host of Rajnath Singh and a whole host of other Singhs can all sue for defamation. That's not the way the law operates.
I mean, only you, Sanjay Hegde, can bring Yo-Yo Honey Singh into this debate. So
why not? I mean, I'm just telling you how ridiculous this kind of gaming in the system has gone to.
It's absolutely not ridiculous. No, I don't agree.
Let him finish his point. Let him finish his point, please. Let Mr. Hegde finish his point. Yes.
It's like saying, that Pragya Thakur and Charu Pragya are the same thing. It's just like that. It's as ridiculous as that. So, and you asked a very pertinent question. What is the 2 years? Why was the 2 years given? Because 2 years was the exact length of time, or in fact, the only length of time by which somebody could be disqualified. And you are telling me that no, there is nothing political. Yes, it was a politician who took it to a convenient jurisdiction in the Gujarat courts. It has worked so far, and the political results are for others to judge. But what I do not like is this thing of dragging the courts into politics by other means. Yes, courts have their own politics, but it was not necessary to accentuate it to this extent, to the extent that I can see on social media that there are comments which say that, you have Naroda Patia on one side and you have the Surat judgment on the other side. So it does not speak well of the health of the judicial system. And if it gets politicized like this, things are only going to get worse.
Well, I agree with the point that we must not politicize decisions of individual courts and conflate them. That tends to happen on social media. It tends to become quite vicious, honestly. Yes, Charu Pragya wants to respond. Yes.
Yeah. So, three quick points. First of all, you were saying, what's the point of an apology? Well, this was asked by the Honorable Judge to Mr. Gandhi that why don't you just clarify what you meant? All he needed to say was that I meant 1 Modi, 2 Modi or 3 Modis and not everybody who carries the surname Modi. It was a simple enough thing to do, and anybody with any ounce of humility would have simply said, I did not mean to hurt every single person with the surname Modi and I was targeting a few. And that's it. The case would have been dissolved and over and done with. He didn't choose to do that. What he chose to do instead was rake in the name of Veer Savarkar and create another political controversy, and he was put down by his own colleagues and by his own allies. So let's remember that, and let's remember the approach he has taken to this entire thing. Another thing is, Mr. Hegde is an advocate and he's been practicing for far longer than I have. So I don't need to remind him the exact wording in the IPC. The IPC says up to 2 years, sir. So why are you saying and talking as if an entire new section has been created in the IPC, especially for Mr. Gandhi? It's there in black and white. All you need to do is use it. So if the judge chose to go with the exact word which is there in the IPC, why do you think it is political? Because it inconveniences you? Is that the only reason? And that's the reason why you're pointing fingers not today at one judge, but at two.
Okay, Mr. Hegde, please respond to that.
Up to 2 years means exactly that, up to 2 years. In the history of the section, this is probably only the second time that it has been used.
Yes.
And I advisedly say that the entire bit was used precisely because the Representation of People's Act says that any conviction with a sentence of more than 2 years will act as a disqualifier. So we have to now take it that the disqualification was intended.
If the disqualification was intended, what are the repercussions? What are the repercussions at this point? Okay, we've talked about the legal aspect. I just want to turn a bit to the political sort of outcome of this. What are the repercussions probably at this point? One can assume that the legal process will come to a conclusion one way or the other before the next general election. Who would it have helped and what purpose will it have served? Mohammad Khan, I asked you that question. I'm going to reiterate it. Is this going to be a key issue which will be brought up in the Karnataka elections? Is this becoming an issue to band the opposition together? Saying tomorrow it could be any of us.
Well, Tammana ji, today, Tammana ji, I think you have followed the Karnataka campaign very, very closely. We have chosen to make it about the people of Karnataka and the issues that impact them specifically. We don't use this for personal point scoring. And, you can prove me wrong if you like. But the truth is that we have been suffering at the hands of the BJP's vindictive politics for the last 8 years now. They have tried every trick in the book. Just a few days ago, they served a breach of privilege on him, suspended him from parliament. They try and summon him before the ED on one ground or the other. They have spent the last 7 years conducting a witch hunt against him and other Congress leaders. So, Tammana ji, you know as well as I do that we look them in the eye. And we say we will not back down. That has been the Congress way, the only party that looks them in the eye squarely and tells them, कर लो जो करना है, हम तब भी तुम्हारी समालोचना करेंगे और तुम पे सवाल उठाते रहेंगे.
To be fair, Mr. Khan, all opposition parties are saying exactly this. No, everyone is looking, all opposition parties are looking them in the eye because that's the existence of an opposition party in democracy.
Has anyone been targeted to the extent, Tammana ma'am?
There is no opposition party that feels they haven't been targeted.
Of the sheer number of leaders.
The Chief Minister of Delhi was summoned by the CBI a few days ago. Everyone's feeling the same pain. I'm saying, is this becoming the glue that cements the opposition together?
No. It may well be, ma'am. It may well be that the opposition comes together under this umbrella. That is something that only time will tell. But when you say that no other opposition parties are alike, I beg to differ. We are the only party in the history of India that has never had common cause with the BJP. We are the only party that has been at the forefront of criticizing these people. We are the principal opposition for a reason. And that, Tammana ji, you have done umpteen number of debates on this subject. And you know that for a fact. I want to say one thing to Charu Pragya ji. She had said something to your viewers that why did Rahul ji simply not stand up before the court and clarify his position? Arre Charu Pragya ji, we filed a whole petition giving those grounds, explaining what we meant, explaining why the law on defamation does not apply. And finally, one important thing, I don't know why we haven't gotten into this yet. Today's order, aaj ka jo order hai, the sessions judge, the learned sessions judge, dismisses us on the following ground. He says, let me paraphrase, in paragraph 12 on page 26, he says, he does not feel, he feels, I hold that the learned counsel for Rahul Gandhi has failed in demonstrating that by not staying the conviction, and etc., an irreversible and irrevocable damage is likely to be caused to him. Irreversible and grave damage is likely to be caused to him. I'm paraphrasing, of course. But, you know, in January of this year, the Kerala High Court in an identical case held the opposite. Do you know what the Kerala High Court said? The Kerala High Court said where an MP had been disqualified while staying its conviction. The next general election to the parliamentary constituency is to be held in 24. if the election to Lakshadweep is to be held immediately on account of the conviction and consequent disqualification of the second petitioner, the financial burden upon the government and indirectly upon the people is immense.
So, Mr. Khan, I don't see the point. So, one court and one judge thinks differently, another one thinks differently. You're going to go to the Gujarat High Court. They may think differently. I mean, I don't know how you can conflate.
There is a difference. तमन्ना जी मुझे एक लाइन दीजिए, एक लाइन में कंक्लूड कर लेता हूं. केरला हाई कोर्ट कह रहा है कि अगर किसी का कन्विक्शन नहीं रोका गया किसी सांसद का, so it will have grave and irreversible consequences, not just for him, but for the public in the exchequer. This is a high court saying that in January of this year. This judgment still holds the field. Charu Pragya ji can correct me if I'm wrong. Secondly, this is a Honorable Sessions Court comes to a different conclusion on the same cause of action and the same, it's not the same cause of action, on the same set of facts.
Why can't a Sessions Court come to a different conclusion than the Kerala High Court on a similar matter? Okay, Charu Pragya, please respond. Yes.
We have every right to do so, and we have every right to disagree. We have every right to appeal. That's what I'm saying. But it is important that your viewers know this.
Yeah,
but they do know it because I said it in my introduction, Mr. Khan. When I listed out the reasons for why this appeal was rebuffed. In fact, we'll play that graphic again. So the viewers are aware of this. There were several grounds. This was one of them. They don't think it's an irreplaceable impact on Rahul Gandhi. We'll not get into it because that's something that the Honorable Court has said. You are going to appeal it in the Gujarat High Court. The question here, Charu Pragya, the question here is this really politically causing irreplaceable harm? Let me reverse the question that I've been asking Mohammad Khan. You're giving Mr. Rahul Gandhi right now a platform to show and demonstrate that he's being targeted by the BJP. That at every point the message coming from the BJP is please don't open your mouth. Whether you're on foreign shores, whether it's in a political rally, anything that you say, we will slap a case against you. You're giving them a chance to say that.
So, Tammana, every time I come for a debate, I sit with this one notebook of mine. And on one of such debates, I actually listed down every filthy word that has been uttered either by Mr. Gandhi or other members of the Congress party against our Honorable Prime Minister Modi, not just on Indian soil, but on foreign soil. I made an entire list of it. Was there a criminal defamation case filed on any such objectionable statement? No. None. In this particular case, it has been done, and he's been called what is a habitual offender, because when I checked up, there are more than a dozen such cases pending against him when he just generalizes things. UP ke log aise hote hain, Kerala ke log aise hote hain,
Charu Pragya, who has 1 minute? Who has filed all those dozen cases?
So when I look at it strictly from a political point of view, can I just finish? No, various people. But let me, and I can list them out for you, but let me finish my flow of thought. So, when I look at this from a very political point of view, I think it is not the right way ahead, and I think no individual in this country should get away from such a platform generalizing things as people calling chore. Just now, Mr. Hegde took the example of saying, what if I call Charu Pragya, Sadhvi Pragya or something like that? But what if I said, jiska bhi naam Sanjay hota hai, wo chor hota hai? Am I going to say something like that and then not every other Sanjay is going to feel, ye kya baat hai bhai, mujhe kyun attack kare, mera kya lena dena?
Okay.
This is what is happening with Mr. Gandhi, and he does not understand that. See, another thing is, now can I also, so when we look at the political angle of this, I don't think, in spite of what the Congress thinks, I don't think Mr. Gandhi is a pivotal part of the opposition in India today. In fact, for the first time in India, there is nobody who occupies the seat of the leader of opposition because you just don't have enough seats. So we've got people in the opposition from different parties who think they can take the lead and be the main face for the opposition in the times to come for 2024 elections. And never have I heard that Mr. Gandhi is going to be that face.
Okay, well, Sanjay Hegde, you know, I think beyond all the politics, this is a relevant point. Are we going to see a train of defamation suits? Because generally speaking, and I'm not talking about any specific politician, it's not like words of prose and poetry are flowing from the mouths of politicians during speeches, right? They are very, very often targeting their political opponents, saying a lot of things. Yes. Are we now going to see a precedent of a slew of defamatory speeches? And Charu Pragya has asked a very specific question. If she says something about all Sanjays, would it offend you?
Well, even if it offended me, would I have a case in defamation? That's the real question, no? Because the explanation says, or an association or collection of persons as such. Now, those words, collection of persons, must be very specific. If you say that all Sanjays in the Supreme Court are X, Y, or Z, do you think Justice Sanjay Kaul, Justice Sanjay Karol, and Justice Sanjay Kumar would have a cause of action? So therefore, there has this collection of individuals has to have a specific identifiable connotation. And that did not exist in this case. I'm speaking pure law. And I don't want to get into the politics of it, but politically, it does look as if that you are wanting to shut down every voice that stands up to speak. They reduce it.
Tammana, can I get 10 seconds?
Debates on some
Sorry,
other
Mr.
channel.
Hegde, I don't want to interrupt you.
You know, there are some channels where mics get muted. That's exactly what is happening. There is a muting of public discourse.
No. So, can I,
yes,
Tammana,
Charu,
can I
Pragya.
quickly get 10 seconds? And very respectfully,
Yes.
Mr. Hegde, because you're interpreting it in law, we also need to remember that law is always open to interpretation. The way you interpret law and the way I might interpret law or a third lawyer might interpret is entirely different, and that's why lawyers exist. Otherwise, why would we even have lawyers if law was something which could not be interpreted differently by different people? Also, it's a living, evolving thing. And that's why one high court is perfectly okay to be disagreeing with another high court. That's how I disagree with Mr. Khan
Sessions
as well,
Court.
because he said,
the example
Sessions
of Mr.
Court
Khan
disagree
was a
with what the High
Sessions Court
said?
versus a High Court.
It's an evolving, living thing. Yeah.
We have to still wait and see what the Gujarat
No,
High
even
Court
in the
says.
times to come. So what I'm saying is it's open to interpretation. Yeah.
Between
Responding
being an
Charu ji.
evolving,
Yes.
living
Thank
thing
you.
and being a weapon of oppression, there is a thin and perceptible difference. The line has now been crossed.
Very well said.
Okay, Mr. Jha, quick word from Mr. Jha.
Tammana ji, may I respond quickly?
With due
No,
respect
I'll come to
to
you,
I've
Mr. Khan,
been
yes.
asking to respond for a while now. Please.
One
With due
minute.
respect to-
Mr. Jha hasn't spoken for even longer. Let Mr. Jha come in, please.
with due respect to the experience of Mr. Sanjay Hegde, I think that he and other fellow legal ideas of the Congress are not guiding Rahul Gandhi correctly. See, in this case, two things are very clear. One, Kerala High Court precedents will not have a binding effect on a Sessions Court of Gujarat. Point number two, he is convicted in a section of IPC, and the mandate of that section is 2 years of punishment, which has been granted. So I think rather than assuming that you are a judge in his case, you are a lawyer of his, and you should guide him properly rather than misguiding him. This is a proper case of
Are you offering
misguiding
to
a
guide him,
client.
Mr. Jha? You sound like you're
Yes,
offering
this
to
is-
guide him.
Yes, this is
Are
a
you
pro
saying you
bono
can do a
offer.
better job?
Yes, this is a pro bono offer because Congress legal cell is
Pro
misguiding
bono
Rahul
offer.
Gandhi. Yes.
Okay. Okay, we don't still
Tammana
have
ji, now may
Abhishek
I
Manu
respond,
Singhvi on the
please?
panel, but it would be interesting to see what he would say. So, pro bono offer from Mr. Jha Mohammad Khan. Are you going to take his offer up? And yes, you wanted to come in.
Yes, No, very good. Talented lawyers are always welcome in the Congress, of course. But I want to respond to Charu ji because she made specific allegations against my leader. She said, why Rahul Gandhi? Why is he seen as the tent pole around which the opposition must unite? She said there's no opposition figure. Madam, please tell that to your leaders. He gives one statement, you do 3 press conferences. Aaj judgment aaya, sabse pehle aap logon ki press conference hui. You are the ones who go after him in parliament. You go after him in every forum. You send every agency after him. Please don't tell us that we are the central force. Tell your leaders who seem to be petrified of us. That's point number one. Point number two, Charu ji said, no, now there is no principal opposition in parliament. Charu ji, again, it is not my duty to educate you on the law. Aap zara CBI Act, CVC Act or Lokpal pad lijiye jaake. Who sits on behalf of the oppositional representative? Congress sits as the oppositional representative because we are the single largest party in parliament. Third point, madam, aapne bola we have used unparliamentary language. I'm sorry, I know this is not the forum for that, but need I remind you who said 50 crore ki girlfriend or Congress ki vidwa? Again, I don't need to remind you. I don't want to get into that.
We're not going to do a laundry list of we're not going to do a laundry list of unparliamentary words on this show.
No. My final point to Charu ji and Shashank ji and Charu ji. There is a doctrine in law called stare decisis. It means that judgments of higher courts are binding on lower courts. It is the doctrine of precedent. That is how we interpret the law. It's not that I am saying checkers खेल रहे हैं और आप बोलती हैं chess खेल रहे हैं. There is a circumscribed line within which interpretations take place.
Okay.
We are not here to say that the judge was wrong. I have the greatest respect for the CJM and the Learned Sessions Court. What we are saying is, based on precedents of the various high courts and the Supreme Court, 11 of which I have here, we feel we have a strong case and we throw ourselves before the majesty of the law. That is our point.
Okay, you will take all of that. All right, I'm going to wrap this here. I'm sure you will take this. I'm sure you will take this to the Gujarat High Court. We will see where the legal process continues. Till then, of course, the political fight will be seen. Thank you so much to all of you for joining us.